Just when you thought the drama maxed out, Miss Thomas drops a bombshell, accusing Mr. Hadley of leading a scandalous double life and denying her son, Jeremiah. She claims Mr. Hadley flips roles, playing dad when with her, and then denying the child with his current squeeze. Miss Stallworth, she suggests Miss Stallworth is the puppet master, manipulating Mr. Hadley into denial. But grab your popcorn, because this ride is just getting started.
Thomas, you claim you're involved in a love triangle that has resulted in the defendant denying your 7-month-old son, Jeremiah. You've petitioned the court for a paternity test to prove that he is the father so he can stop living a double life.
Yes.
The plot thickens as Miss Thomas spills that when Miss Stallworth is out of the picture, Mr. Hadley slips into the dad genes quite comfortably. She presents a snapshot to the court, supposedly showing Mr. Hadley snoozing next to Jeremiah, which he disputes but then kinda admits he was indeed there, snoozing away. Strap in. The next chapter in this saga is a doozy.
He doesn't watch him. However, if he's crying, he'll go to him, pick him up, make sure he doesn't fall off the bed. He'll give him his bottle.
Well, with all due respect, Your Honor, I don't think anyone would just let a child fall off the bed.
He's the one that stands up by the crib and pats his back the whole time until he falls asleep.
As the stakes rise, paternity puzzle gets messier with their tangled sexual history coming to light. Mr. Hadley admits to rolling the dice without protection during their escapades around the time Jeremiah was conceived. He's skeptical about his daddy status though, thanks to the timing in Miss Thomas's playbook, including another man. Hold tight, because there's more juicy drama just around the corner.
Benefits? Was it friends and you were having sex as well?
Yes,
It didn't lead to sex until way later on.
But you did have a sexual relationship.
Yeah.
Did you use protection when you had sex?
The first time.
Only 2 times out of all of them. Twice.
In a twist that feels straight out of a soap opera, Mr. Hadley confesses to feeling cornered into playing the proud papa at Jeremiah's birth, caving to family pressure to ink his last name on the newbie. As the courtroom absorbs this twist, you won't believe what's up next. More gasps guaranteed.
Number one, her family member brought me to the hospital, out of respect, everything. I'm going, so while I'm there, they're about to name the child, and she said the child's last name is gonna be Hadley. And her whole family's Jamaican, so it's a whole bunch of Jamaicans in the room. They're like, oh, is the child's last name gonna be Hadley?
Amidst an ever-thickening plot, an inconclusive home DNA test throws everyone for a loop, with Mr. Hadley scratching his head over the iffy results and sticking to his guns about not being the father. Convo dives deeper into Miss Thomas's other rendezvous during conception time, and just when you think it can't get any wilder, the next moment will flip the script.
Well, we also had a home DNA test done, and the results were inconclusive.
Did you bring any evidence of that test? The test was inconclusive.
Yes, anything can mess up an at-home DNA test. You have practically perfect.
You're up for a curveball as the trio untangles their complicated living and loving arrangements. Mr. Hadley admits his residential ping-pong between the two women, stirring up the emotional pot even more. Fasten your seatbelts, because the truth train is pulling into the station next.
Stayed over her house.
He lives with, he has his clothes at my house.
Where do you live?
No, he doesn't.
Now you live with Miss Stallworth.
No.
But your clothes are at Miss Thomas.
He lives with me.
Who are you intimate with right now?
Miss Stallworth.
Miss Stallworth.
It's a back and forth. It's been like that for 2 years.
Dive deeper into this tangled web as it's revealed that Mr. Hadley and Miss Stallworth also share a child, layering this love triangle with extra complications. The court ponders the future fallout if Mr. Hadley is indeed Jeremiah's pops. You might want to sit down for this. Things are about to get even more twisted.
Me and Mr. Hadley would just co-parent with our daughter and nothing further.
He's been trying.
So you two have a child as well?
Yes, we do. We have a baby girl.
So this has been a love triangle that's been going on for a while.
Yes, a long
And you just go back and forth, mister, depending on whose house you stay in.
Yes.
Well, it was like when she would get mad at me a lot of times, and she'll for no reason.
As the anticipation peaks, the DNA test results are finally unveiled.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Hadley, you are not his father.
You won't believe this roller coaster. Miss Smathers explains why she has brought Mr. Stevens to court, devastated that he denies being the biological father of her son, Adrian. She asserts that the DNA test results are crucial for their future as a family, highlighting the stakes involved. And boy, does it get spicier from here. Strap in for Mr. Stevens' fiery rebuttal.
Miss Smathers, you have dragged the defendant to court because you are devastated he refuses to accept that he is your son's biological father. You claim today's DNA results will have a dramatic impact as a family.
Yes, Your Honor.
Here's where it gets juicy. Mr. Stevens counters the claim by stating that anyone can see he is not the father just by looking at him and the baby. He further complicates the narrative by accusing Ms. Smathers of infidelity around the time she became pregnant, which he uses to bolster his denial. Ms. Smathers' comeback to this bombshell is up next, and it's a doozy.
Mr. Stevens, you say that one look at you and the baby is all anyone needs to see are not the father. And if that's not enough, you claim the plaintiff slept with another man right told you she's pregnant.
Yes, Your Honor.
This part tugs at the heartstrings. Ms. Smathers, visibly upset, discusses their relationship history with Mr. Stevens, noting how their relationship deteriorated due to his infidelity. This background sets the stage for understanding the emotional and personal complexities surrounding the paternity dispute. Buckle up, drama escalates quickly after this.
Well, Your Honor, me and Mr. Stevens met when I was 16 years old. We went to GED classes together. Eventually started dating. I moved in with him. After that, it went from good to bad. Mr. Stevens started cheating on me. I was always at home with the baby. You know, he was always out with girls.
Talk about a plot twist. Ms. Smathers recounts telling Mr. Stevens about her pregnancy and his initial happiness, which later turned into skepticism after she delayed revealing doubts about the paternity. You won't want to miss how this bombshell shakes things up in the courtroom.
Miss Smathers, you find out you're pregnant, you tell Mr. Stevens. What was his response?
He was happy.
I was happy. And the aspect is like, you know, she was pregnant, but she waited 5 months to tell me that there was a possibility that.
Oh, so initially when you found out she was pregnant,
like I was excited, like, cause you know, found out that it was a boy. You know, like I wanted a first child, like as a boy.
Grab your popcorn, folks. A key turn occurs when Ms. Smathers admits to a brief affair, leading Mr. Stevens to suspect that he might not be the father. This revelation intensifies the courtroom drama as it casts doubt on the paternity. Up next, Mr. Stevens pours his heart out, and it's a real tearjerker.
I did open up and say that I was with another man, but I never said that AJ was. It was, my conception date was between October 7th and the 11th. We had a hotel party. He was conceived that night.
She said that, like, yeah, like we did it on her birthday, a little bit kind of did it we had talked about getting back together.
This moment is a real eye-opener. Mr. Stevens discusses his approach to fatherhood despite doubts, portraying himself as a committed father figure. This moment is poignant as it reflects his internal conflict and dedication to his parental role. The emotional depth here is palpable. It sets the stage for even more heartfelt confessions.
Because I don't see my side of the feature in him. Like, he's the lightest.
Babies come in all different skin colors. You cannot judge a baby by what color they come.
I know, that's one of his main, that's what I'm trying to get through his head. Just because he has lighter skin doesn't mean he's not his.
This part will hit you right in the feels. Mr. Stevens talks about the emotional toll of the situation, showing visible distress over the ongoing uncertainty about his paternity. His emotional investment underscores the personal stakes involved. Wait till you see how a witness's statement throws a wrench into the work.
Times, but I try not to because that gives me more doubt, and like I just don't want that. Like I want me and him to have a bond. Like I want us to be able to go fishing. I want us to be able to go hunting and do stuff together.
It's like you're trying not to see, but you just feel like you can see.
Yeah, like I don't see myself when I look at him.
The tension could be cut with a knife. Ms. Craig, a witness, testifies against Ms. Smathers, claiming she expressed doubts about Mr. Stevens being the father, which contradicts Ms. Smathers' previous statements and adds another layer of tension. The courtroom reacts with gasps and murmurs. This testimony is a game changer.
I know that Mr. Stevens has had doubts about Adrian belonging to him.
She told you she had doubts.
That's not true.
Well, why would she sit up here and lie? She's your friend.
Had expressed to me, we had a conversation that she had some doubts Josh was the biological father.
This testimony really stirs the pot. Ms. Craig's testimony leads to a confrontation in court, with Mr. Stevens feeling validated in his doubts. This segment highlights the complexities of personal relationship and the impact of external opinions on personal doubts. Up next, the DNA results are finally revealed, and the anticipation is off the charts.
Yeah, because like at the same time, like is her best friend. She confines her secrets into people that she. With AJ, he's just the ugly duckling of the family. I guess that would be like something like that. Like the rest, all of them match, and then like there's this one that doesn't match.
All the features line up in all the other children.
Yes.
And then he looks at, because there's nothing ugly about that baby.
I know.
Here comes the big reveal. The DNA results are revealed.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Stevens, you are the father.
You won't believe this one. Miss Santos states her reason for being in court, claiming the deceased Raymond Colon is the father of her child. She is challenged by Colon's mother, who doubts the paternity due to Santos's other relationships at the time of conception. And just when you think you've heard it all, the story takes another twist.
Miss Santos, you are here today. Say the love of your life, father of your child, Raymond Colon, was fatally shot just 6 months ago. You are petitioning the court for a paternity test to prove to his mother was and is father of your 4-year-old son.
Who saw that coming? Miss Colon expresses her grief and suspicion about Santos's motives, suggesting she is after the deceased's benefits. This sets the stage for the conflict and the emotional stakes involved, highlighting the family's grief and financial implications. But hold on, it's about to get even juicier.
You argue that your son, Raymond, is not Miss Santos's father because you know she was also sleeping with another man during the time her son was. You believe the only reason Miss Santos is claiming that your son is the father is because she wants to collect collect his Social Security and life benefits.
Wait, there's more? Santos recounts how her secretive relationship with Colon began, emphasizing their close upbringing and the complexities of their familial-like relationship. This narrative introduces personal and somewhat taboo nature of their connection, which complicates the paternity issue. Stick around, the secrets are just starting to spill.
It was such a secret because me and Raymond grew up together from Pampers.
Like cousins.
We don't have the same blood running through our system.
No, you don't have the
But
same
we
blood.
did grew up together. That's why it was I kept this pregnancy such a secret.
Can this get any spicier? A family gathering incident is described where playful behavior at a birthday party led to an intimate encounter between Santos and Colon. This moment is crucial as it transitions their relationship from platonic to romantic, setting the foundation for the paternity dispute. You'll want to see what happens next.
Friends with another man, we had relations and everything. It was Raymond's 20th birthday. Do a bash for him. Eating good, music good. So I was, feeling it. I was in my little vibe. He came up to me and smashed a cupcake in my face. That's how we always play.
When we do a party, if the birthday boy gets lunch a birthday cake.
And then what happened? Santos admits to the relationship being more than a one-time thing, revealing multiple encounters with Colon, which coincided with her pregnancy's conception period. This admission introduces doubt about the child's paternity, reflecting the complex personal decisions and relationships involved. The revelations keep coming, so stay tuned.
No, it was one morning. It happened a couple of times that morning.
But you were in a relationship with somebody else.
Yes, I was. And Raymond knew that.
Sexually active with that person as well as Mr. Colon. And this was around the time of conception.
I told Raymond that I was pregnant or whatever because me and Raymond was really close. Is it mine or whatever? And I just looked at him. I was like, no, it can't be because I'm always with the other man. Just left it alone right there.
Didn't see that coming, did you? The narrative shifts to after the child's birth, detailing Santos's struggles with the biological father and Colon's subsequent support. This part highlights Colon's role in the child's life, raising questions about his potential biological connection and his commitment as a father figure. The emotional stakes are about to hit the roof.
I had my son in Florida. When he was about a year old, I came to Chicago hoping that the other man would want a relationship with my son. Have no feelings towards my son whatsoever. Raymond personally told me, he said, well, I heard that the other man kicked you out. He wanted to get an apartment. He didn't want me out into the street. All I have to worry about is cooking and cleaning for him, and he'll take care of the bill.
Who could ignore that tension? Miss Colon firmly believes that Raymond is not the father, citing the child's appearance and her knowledge of Santos's other relationships during the pregnancy. This moment underscores the mother's denial and her emotional turmoil, influenced by her grief and protective instincts toward her son's memory. What's next will have you on the edge of your seat.
Raymond is not the father of this baby.
Why are you so convinced? What is your doubt?
Living with someone else before, during, and after of the pregnancy, the baby don't look nothing like us. The baby does not have the Colon nose. It's not our
regardless of the fact whether
you don't
that's
see
his son,
any resemblance to your son?
I'm not gonna sit here and fight with her. She raised a good man. He died loving my son.
Ready for a curveball? The judge discusses the possibility of Colon being the father, reflecting on the timing of the relationships and the slim chance of paternity. This judicial insight brings a legal and probabilistic dimension to the emotional and personal narratives presented. The next part is going to be a doozy.
Based upon the time intimate with the boyfriend, with Mr. Colon, there is a chance he could be the father.
A 10% chance that Raymond could be the father. Chance.
Yeah, because we already had sex 10%.
Bet you didn't expect that. Miss Colon discusses her son's secretive behaviors and their impact on her, revealing the deep personal and familial bonds that complicate her acceptance of the situation. Her testimony shows the pain of loss and the difficulty of accepting new, unsettling information following her son's death. But there's more to come. Just you wait.
Julius is my son. Let me go talk to my mom and dad and see if they'll help me pay a DNA test. I could be positive that it is my son. But when they took their trip to Florida he could have gone to City Hall, signed his name on the birth certificate. If Raymond thought that it was his son, that it was definitely his son, he would have talked to us.
Is there another side to this story? Rosal, Raymond's sister, supports Santos's claim, believing the child is her nephew based on her brother's admission. This testimony introduces a conflicting family perspective, highlighting the divisions within the family regarding the child's paternity and Raymond's actions. The family saga continues to unfold next.
Told me that he had got Sarah pregnant. And I was like, what, are you serious? And so I went and I confronted her. I heard that baby might be my brother. And she started laughing. She was like, well, there's a chance that it could be. Me and her hang out all the time. As you know, we grow up cousins. Me and her are like always together. Anything because we did grow up as cousins.
Thought we were done? The judge summarizes the complex emotions, legal stakes, and family dynamics at play, setting the stage for the DNA results. This culmination reflects the court's role in resolving deeply personal disputes and the broader implications for all involved, especially the child. The climax is just around the corner, and it's a big big one.
Having to deal with the loss of her son, have a child together, and then on top of that, that he obviously planned a life, or all of these things are new to her, and it's just been 6 months. So you have to understand her level of resistance is strong because there's so much happening at once. Finding a way to move forward.
Are you ready for the big reveal? The DNA test results are revealed.
It has been determined that Mr. Raymond Colon is not father.
I knew it.
The courtroom buzzes with anticipation as Mrs. Watts makes her entrance. Mrs. Watts, representing her tragically deceased son Alex, steps up with doubts about the paternity of the 20-month-old Caden, claimed by defendant Ms. M. Shell to be Alex's son. Ms. Shell is adamant that Alex fathered Caden and is here to prove it through a DNA test. The stage is set for what promises to be a roller coaster of emotions. Just you wait, the emotional roller coaster is just about to take off.
Mrs. Watts, you are here on behalf of your deceased son, Alex, who was tragically murdered just a few months ago. You stand here on his behalf because you doubt he fathered the defendant's 20-month-old son, Caden, and you have asked for a DNA test to determine the truth.
Yes, Your Honor.
The room falls silent as Mrs. Watts takes the stand. Overcome with emotion, Mrs. Watts recounts the violent loss of her sons, describing the heart-wrenching scene she encountered and the subsequent death of Alex at the hospital. This backdrop of tragedy adds a heavy weight to her doubts about Caden's paternity, questioning if the little boy is indeed her grandson. Brace yourself, as Ms. M. Shell's recount of her romance with Alex adds another layer of complexity next.
My two sons went to visit a friend who had some type of altercation with some gentlemen prior to my sons coming to visit their home. When my two sons got there, they were ambushed and murdered. When I got to the scene, my older son, he was still at the scene. He died on the scene. He was covered with a sheet. I was told that my son Alex had been taken to the hospital in critical condition.
Hearts in the courtroom flutter as Ms. M. Shell describes her love story with Alex. She shares intimate details of their relationship, filled with plans for a future cruelly cut short. Her conviction that Alex saw Caden as his son, despite the lack of a biological confirmation, is touching and raises the stakes in the paternity drama. The plot thickens even more with the revelation of some eyebrow-raising text messages up next.
We were in love. Every time you seen Alex, like we were always together. We planned on having a family together, having that future together, but fortunately it was cut short.
And so Caden is 19 months old, and so he did get to know his father.
Yes.
The man you say is his biological father, he passed away.
Yes.
Hold on to your seats. As Mrs. Watts presents text messages between herself and Ms. M. Shell, the courtroom is gripped. The messages uncover Ms. M. Shell's initial uncertainty about Caden's paternity following a one-night stand, casting a shadow of doubt over her current certainties and complicating the narrative further. As secrets start to spill, the intrigue only grows. Up next, delve into the mysterious nature of Alex's private life.
She sent it to me in a text message.
Do you have that text message?
I do.
And you ask, question, are you pregnant by Alex? Miss Sherrill responds, I don't really know, I don't believe so, but at this moment, I don't know, I have to get a blood test.
The plot thickens as whispers fill the room. Discussion turns to Alex's penchant for privacy, especially concerning Caden's birth, juxtaposing his open acknowledgement of another daughter. This contrast adds a spicy twist to the paternity puzzle, fueling speculation and doubt about Caden's lineage. But don't wander off. Alex's stepfather is about to shed some more light on the matter.
Keep the whole pregnancy a secret. He did not want nobody to know about the pregnancy. And at the same time, I didn't tell my family I was pregnant either. We both decided to keep a secret.
And so you can see how your son may have said, let's keep this to ourselves.
Private about other people being in his business. I know him and I had a good relationship, and he talked with his stepdad a lot.
All ears are on Mr. Gregory Watts as he adds his 2 cents. Giving a different perspective, he emphasizes that Alex never acknowledged Caden as his own, contrasting sharply with Ms. M. Shell's heartfelt assertion. This testimony adds a layer of drama to the already tangled narrative, setting the stage for the bombshell DNA results that are about to drop.
He never talked about no babies or nothing. It was like, all this is new to me this year.
Wait, so he's never even met face to face for him to be able to say, have a say something.
I'm talking about what Alex said. He never said nothing about no baby. If somebody got a child, they gonna say, well, this is my baby. Here, mama, look at my baby.
When you all would have your father-son time, he never mentioned I have a baby on the way.
No. Here comes the moment everyone's been waiting for. DNA results are in.
The percentage of relatedness between Ms. Lita Watts and Caden is 0.006%. You are not related.
Can you believe the roller coaster we just hopped on? Ms. Hendricks breaks down how doubts about her 6-month-old son Isaiah's paternity have shattered her relationship and scattered her family to the winds. She spills her guts about the emotional tornado this has caused. Mr. Pacheco pipes up with his doubts, noting they kicked off when he accidentally eavesdropped on a conversation suggesting another dude claimed to be Isaiah's real dad. Brace yourself, because the drama's just heating up.
You were once in a committed relationship with the defendant, Mr. Pacheco. You say the doubts about your 6-month-old son Isaiah's paternity has destroyed your relationship and the rest of your family. You say your doubts about paternity began when you overheard a conversation with Ms. family member and another man who claimed to be the baby's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you catch that bombshell? We dive deeper into the gossip mill that fueled Mr. Pacheco's uncertainties. Ms. Hendricks' brother supposedly dropped a major hint to Mr. Pacheco that he might not be the father, having seen Ms. Hendricks' ex lurking around, which threw their relationship into a nosedive. The crowd's reaction? Audible gasps and murmurs, perfectly capturing the tension in the air. Hold tight, it only spirals from here.
Before the ex situation, I heard talking on the phone. The family member kept telling her, your ex wants me to tell you, to tell the baby that I love him. If I go to jail, please keep in contact with me. I feel heartbroken. And then I was like, that's what started giving me more doubt. After getting more doubts about the situation, Mr. Hendricks here, that's on the side of me. You know, he started to, one day we went out.
No, that's not true.
Talk about a curveball. Amidst the storm, Mr. Pacheco recalls a cutting remark from a family member during a get-together, insinuating Isaiah could be the mailman's baby thanks to his light hair and eyes. This snide comment cranks up Mr. Pacheco's doubts and pain, shedding light on the intricate web of family drama and suspicion that surrounds questions of paternity. And guess what? The next scene takes the cake for drama.
That her family member came and said,
And light skin.
said, oh, that's the mailman's baby. When they said that, I was mad. I walked out, and then an ex at there, whatever time it was, for him to say, oh, that's my son, I love him, I can't wait to see him. When I get out of jail, I want to just keep in contact with you. That's what really hurt me the most. What future do
And he's talking
do
about
he
an
got?
ex that I haven't seen. I got with him this summer. Me and him got together is when I cut it off. I haven't seen him since then.
This one's a real game changer. Judge Lake steps in with a reality check for Ms. Hendricks, scolding her for tossing out a potentially relationship-ending accusation during a heated argument that Mr. Pacheco might not be the father. The judge's words hammer home the irreversible damage such claims can cause, not just to the individuals involved, but to their entire shared life. You'll want to stick around. The reveal is just around the corner.
You can't unring that bell. Now what's in his mind?
Yeah, I understand.
Along with all the other things everybody else?
Got relief from the hospital, whatever. When I got kicked out, I tried to sign the birth certificate. Isaiah Hendricks, not Isaiah Pacheco.
I cannot make him
And
Pacheco.
for me, but every time I called you and I told you for us to
How
make an
am I
appointment,
supposed-
you never
you
wanted to
have to
do
call
it. You always had
juvenile court.
excuses for everything.
It's like a process.
Here comes the showstopper. The DNA test results are in.
Mr. Pacheco, you are his father.
And guess what? Buckle up for this emotional roller coaster. The plaintiffs, Miss Taylor and Miss Johnson, kick things off fiery accusations, asserting that Mr. Barber fathered their children simultaneously, but has neglected his support duties. They lay out their case with intense emotion, airing their frustrations about Mr. Barber's preferential treatment towards another child. As the audience and judges lean in, the women emphasize their unusual alliance despite previous conflicts. Get ready, because this is just the opening act of today's courtroom drama.
Ms. Taylor and Johnson, you both claim that you were pregnant at the same time defendant Mr. Barber's children. Argue that he has not been a father to your kids but takes care of his other child. In your joint statement, you say that despite having issues with one another you are here today united to confront Mr. Barber.
Yes.
Did that really just happen? Miss Taylor steps up to the financial plate, hitting hard with a claim for $3,608 in child care expenses. Hot on her heels, Miss Johnson also lays out her financial woes, asking for $3,880. The air crackles with tension as Mr. Barber counters, attributing his limited support to their high demands and the surrounding drama. Fasten your seatbelts, because the stakes are about to get even higher.
Ms. Taylor, you are suing Mr. Barber for $3,608 in child care. You are also asking the court to award you $3,880 child care expense.
Yes, Your Honor.
Can you feel the heat in here? The confrontation escalates quickly, with biting accusations of favoritism and manipulation flying across the courtroom. Miss Taylor accuses Mr. Barber of only financially supporting the child of the woman he's still romantically involved with, a claim both Mr. Barber and the other child's mother vehemently deny. As the judge struggles to hammer down order, the courtroom buzzes with anticipation. The next turn in this saga is just around the corner, and it promises to be a doozy.
I believe that he supports other child because he's still sleeping with his other child's mother. He had 3 women pregnant at the same time. He is a dog. He doesn't do anything for my child. I have to take care of my. I am talking. You do not interrupt me when I shut your mouth. Let's right now and let me talk.
Just when you think it's all serious, Mr. Barber's phone rings. Cue the laughter and raised eyebrows as this unexpected ringtone breaks the tension, turning the courtroom into a brief comedy show. Judge Lake seizes the moment to inject a bit of humor, though the ring also hints at the chaos of Mr. Barber's personal life. Don't go anywhere. The revelations just keep coming.
Mr. Barber, is somebody calling you? Jerome, answer it and see if it's a woman. They probably never call and find out you're in fraternity court.
Cut it off?
Probably was.
Hold on to your popcorn, folks. This confession changes everything. Mr. Barber steps into the spotlight, acknowledging paternity for all the children involved, which shifts the narrative towards his responsibilities and alleged absences at critical moments. The emotional stakes are high as deep-seated issues bubble to the surface, painting a complex picture of missed moments and parental neglect. And guess what? There's more drama ahead that you won't want to miss.
You wholeheartedly admit that you are the father of all the children.
Yes, ma'am.
So if I saw the birth certificate,
I've signed every single one of them.
Yeah, he's on mine.
On mine.
Ms. Taylor,
Cut the umbilical cord and everything. Yeah, did he cut the umbilical cord for you? How about you, Cash?
oh, you done started something now.
For real?
My bad.
You know that I was there.
As emotions run high, Miss Taylor shares a deeply personal and painful episode. She recounts the loneliness and struggle of giving birth alone, underscoring Mr. Barber's sporadic presence and lack of support. This heart-wrenching testimony not only showcases her resilience, but also casts a long shadow over Mr. Barber's claims of fatherhood. The air is thick with tension, setting the stage for yet another explosive revelation.
I had my daughter by myself. My mother's deceased. My family could not get there. He was not there. I called him and told him that I was being induced. Never know when the baby's gonna come. He stayed for the first 24 hours and he left.
I didn't show up, but why? What did I tell you I was doing? What was I doing? I was at work!
As the judge gears up to lay down the law, everyone's on the edge of their seats. Moving towards a resolution, the discussion pivots to financial responsibilities and past neglect. Mr. Barber faces the music, admitting his failures and expressing a desire to make amends. The atmosphere is charged with anticipation. What will the judge decide? Stay tuned because the verdict is bound to shake things up.
But I also see how frustrated. I see a man who's admitting pretty much I blew it. You got 2 of your children's mothers standing at the same podium. You 2 go to speak. I took a moment to just observe you. And there's no understanding, no patience, no compromise, no resolution when you all are going at each other like that.
In a surprising twist, Miss Cooper steps up with a fresh angle. She suggests Mr. Barber has the potential to be a good father, despite the ongoing turmoil with Miss Taylor and Miss Johnson. Her insights suggest that personal vendettas might be clouding the co-parenting waters, introducing a new layer of complexity to the drama. As this new information settles, the narrative takes a sharp turn. Keep watching, the intrigue is about to deepen.
No, I don't. I feel like he loves all his kids the same. I just feel like me and him have came to a common ground to co-parent. Our relationship and what we've been through, none of that matters. She's a daddy's girl. She's the only one for all the time.
So you think he is capable of being a good father to their children?
Of course.
And in your estimation, since you know him, what do you think is stopping him? Because he acknowledges paternity.
As the financial documents come under scrutiny, the courtroom holds its breath. Detailed expenses laid out by Miss Taylor spotlight the real costs of raising a child, pressing Mr. Barber to confront his financial obligations head-on. With everyone hanging on every word, the judge prepares to deliver a ruling that could flip the script. Don't switch channels now. Climax is just moments away.
Now, these expenses that you have presented accurately depict what it takes to raise a child. Now, do you have anything to add before I make my ruling? You know, it is this court's opinion that Miss Taylor is in fact entitled to $3,608 in back child care expenses.
As the final gavel prepares to strike, the air is filled with a mix of hope and tension.
You have a responsibility to share in those expenses, and for that reason, I am awarding the $3,880 she's requesting for this court judgment for Johnson.
Cash, please.
But I did hear between the lines a level of truth that I want to explain to you that I am, because I want you to do better. When you got these women pregnant, you didn't know who you were.
Buckle up, folks, as Judge Lake rolls out the carpet on the dramatic Fritz Vroo's Aji case. Mr. Fritz has been on a 3-decade quest to locate his biological daughter, whom he believes was unfairly taken from him. He finally traced Ms. Aji on Facebook after all these years and is here today to confirm he's her dad. You won't believe the twists and turns that are about to unfold.
Mr. Fritz, you state that over the last 30 years, you have searched to find your biological daughter, who you claim was taken from you as a child. However, just 4 months ago, this spree came to an end when you found Ms. Agee, whom you believe to be your daughter, on Facebook.
As the courtroom edges to the edge of their seats, Ms. Agee throws a curveball, doubting Mr. Fritz's claim as her father, insisting she knows her real dad, and it's not Mr. Fritz. She challenges Mr. Fritz's narrative, suggesting if his search was genuine, she would have been found much earlier. Strap in for the next clip. It's a doozy.
Ms. Agee, you say you know exactly who your biological father is and have come to court today to prove once and for all to Mr. Fritz that he is not your father. Why are you so adamant that Mr. Fritz is not your biological?
Well, first off, Your Honor, he's on a birth certificate.
Pulling at our heartstrings, Agee dives into her backstory, sharing tales of her youth, the mystery around her real dad, and the brief encounter with him at age 11. Despite the heartache of his absence, she holds onto the memory of promises unkept. But hold tight, there's more heart-tugging drama just around the corner.
The guy that's on my birth certificate was not my biological father. He was married to my mother, but I do know who my biological father is. I was about 8 or 9 years old. I started asking questions about who my real father was, and my grandmother was the one who raised me. She told me my biological father was Buster. That's the only person she knew as my biological father. I went to the door, and it was Buster. At the time, I didn't know it was my father.
The air thickens as Mr. Fritz recounts his epic journey to find Ms. Agee, including an audacious escape from prison, just to see her as a baby. He whips out old photos in court, trying to jog her memory of their times together. Fasten your seatbelts. The emotional roller coaster is about to hit a steep drop.
I got sentenced and incarcerated. When I was being moved from one camp to another, I met a friend of mine. I said, hey man, when you get it back in town, when you run by Angel's family, know that I've been transferred. After 3 months, I escaped from the penitentiary to go see my daughter, and at 2 months old, I went and seen my daughter.
In an unexpected plot twist, Mr. Fritz narrates how fate led him to Ms. Agee's Facebook profile. At the ripe age of 35, he reached out, sparking a connection that seemed destined by the digital gods. The story is heating up, so keep your eyes peeled for what's next.
The day that I met her, I was sitting at the house. I was on Facebook, and I just started messing with it. I started looking at relatives, this name, this name, this name, Shauna Angel. That's the name that come up with the numbers of people I was looking at. I says, this is Danny Fritz, please contact me.
You contacted me. We were talking.
Right.
I thought you was an old school friend because I didn't even know you were my dad. I didn't recognize the name.
Testing the waters of their newfound relationship, Mr. Fritz steps up, offering financial help for Ms. Agee's daughter's cheerleading needs, showcasing his desire to be part of her life despite the rocky start. Guess what? The twists just keep coming.
I'm here to help you. I'm here to be your dad.
But you're putting out there that I asked you for money. I didn't ask you for no money. I told you what. And if you would have contacted me and asked me questions, I would have told you what went on.
But Miss Agee, you don't
did.
have your father or a man that believes he's your father for the money. And
But
his
he's making a big
belief
deal
that
about it.
he's
If he
your
would've
I'm not making a big
No,
deal
he
about
wasn't
it.
making a big deal about it. Point was just to say, I'm there. I was trying to give of myself.
Tensions mount as Ms. Agee airs her grievances, and skepticism about Mr. Fritz's paternal claims, fueled by years of disappointment and hurt. The emotional depth of their dispute is as complex as a labyrinth. Brace yourself. The revelations up next are jaw-dropping. Just when you think you've seen it all, the moment of truth arrives with the DNA results.
Again.
That's understandable. I can understand. I
Like I
know that.
said, I've been hurt.
I'm not going to hurt you.
You
baby.
wasn't there.
On one hand, you say, I had my grandmother. She raised me. She gave me all I need. I don't need him. I don't want to be hurt
I didn't have a
again.
dad growing up. I didn't have a mom growing up. I had a grandmother. That was my mom.
I am her
Mr.
daddy.
Fritz, you are her father.
Yes!
That's what I'm saying.
Did she really just drop that bomb? Ms. Brown Ramirez confesses that her 9-month-old daughter might not actually be Mr. Wayne's. This bombshell sends shockwaves through the courtroom and kicks off a heated debate about trust and paternity that promises to be a roller coaster. Brace yourself, because the revelations are just heating up.
You state you have 3 children with him, but confess that your 9-month-old daughter may not be his biological child. Mr. Wayne, you argue that Ms. Brown Ramirez has lied and deceived you out your relationship.
Talk about lighting a fuse. Mr. Wayne accuses Ms. Brown Ramirez of fabricating her entire backstory from the day they met. His profound distrust and the emotional weight of discovering her numerous liaisons imply that their relationship might have been built on a foundation of quicksand. And guess what? Plot thickens in just a moment.
You lied about who you was, lied about how many people.
I lied about who
honest
she was?
about that, Your Honor.
Yeah, when I asked her about how many people she been
But
with
10
before
years,
me.
Your Honor, he knew this fact. I didn't force him to stay in this relationship. He decided to stay.
Most women lie about how many sexual partners they've had in the
Your Honor.
past.
Thank you.
Who brought the onions? Mr. Wayne dives deep, explaining his unwavering commitment to their tumultuous relationship due to his own lack of a father figure growing up. His poignant revelation shows his inner battle between his doubts about paternity and his desire to be a dad. Stick around. You're going to want to see what's next.
The whole reason me coming back to her while she was pregnant, my first child, is a simple fact of me not ever having a dad.
Family.
Yes.
That life you didn't have. You want to give.
Yes.
Right, and so do I, Your Honor, but every day constantly accusing me of cheating, oh, you doing this and you doing that. Why would you want to be in a relationship with somebody like that?
This revelation is a doozy. Ms. Brown Ramirez spills the beans about the circumstances that cast doubt on the paternity of her youngest child. Having had a fling during a brief break with Mr. Wayne, she admits the baby's father might be not Mr. Wayne. Fasten your seatbelts. The next part is a real doozy.
Well, Your Honor, we were separated in the month that I had conceived, dealing with someone else. Being that I never had a father, I chose to go back to Mr. Wayne. He always manipulated me into being with him, saying, oh,
no, you're just trying to take advantage of me. That's it.
You never had your daddy. You want your daughters to grow up to be like you. I don't understand why, you just want to go out and do this and do that and father for your children. But in all reality, I do.
Cue the dramatic exit music. In a heart-wrenching twist, Mr. Wayne threatens to pack his bags and leave if the DNA results don't point to him as the father. This moment highlights his torn feelings between perceived betrayal and his role in the child's life. But hold the phone. There's more drama just around the corner.
Who you want me to be, and I made that change to be with you. If she's not mine, I'm gonna walk away. But you've been in her life for the past 9 months. How can you just say I'm gonna walk away from a child that possibly is not mine?
How do you respond to that? Because truthfully, I understand your doubt, first off, but I feel almost as if you're at war. Keep going back to this woman because I want to be there for the children. I want to create this family.
Ready for a soap opera twist? Judge Lake steps in to dissect the couple's infidelity issues and how these have torpedoed their attempts to construct a stable family life. This powder keg of emotions and consequences really sets the stage for some eye-opening moments. The saga continues, and it's juicier than ever.
She's admitted that she's cheated. That's wrong. You've admitted you've cheated. That's wrong. You also say you want to make things better. You want to have the family, the children to have the family you didn't. If you want to do that, how can you do that and be verbally abusive to their mother? And I'm not saying you're doubt because you have a valid reason to be doubt, and she's admitted that.
But if you don't want to be with me, just say that. You can still be there for your kids.
You can't make this stuff up. Mr. Wayne brings up his doubts about being the father based on the baby's looks, which he claims bear no resemblance to his. This typical paternity dispute trope gets a humorous twist with his insistence on facial features and skin tone comparisons. Just wait. The reaction is priceless.
Is that your doubt expression? Moving forward, you don't feel like there's any physical similarity. You don't see it.
I mean, I guess
one day she does look like him and one day she doesn't.
I'm still battling with it to this day because it be points where I'm holding my baby and I'm like, she did say she probably not mine, and I start looking at her like, and it's kind of hard for me to be the father that I know I can be.
Are you feeling this tension? In a moving confrontation, Judge Lake questions Mr. Wayne's resolve to ditch his paternal role if the kids aren't his biologically, really probing into what fatherhood means to him. Don't wander off now. The climax is just up ahead.
If these children aren't yours, even though as their father, you're ready to bounce on these kids, that you're gonna leave.
You cheated, I found out about it. Hey, my baby already here. So I'm like, hey, I'm trying to be in my baby life. So do I skate out, bounce out like a coward like most people do? Do I try to strategize and come up with alternatives and stuff like that in order to keep me in these girls' life?
You won't believe this part.
It has been determined by this court that you are her father.
Thank you.
One way. That's one way.
Strap in for a roller coaster of emotions as Ms. Davis, after reconnecting with her ex-husband Mr. Simpson, is challenged with proving his paternity for their 2-year-old daughter Elizabeth. Amidst a backdrop of past indiscretions, Mr. Simpson, skeptical due to Ms. Davis's history of infidelity, is adamant on having a DNA test to prove he's not the father. Just when you think it's all been said, the courtroom temperature rises to scorching levels.
You say that after a rocky marriage and nearly 10-year separation, you reconnected with your ex-husband 3 years ago. You say Mr. Simpson is now denying he's your 2-year-old daughter Elizabeth's father.
You've got to see this to believe it. Mr. Simpson airs out his doubts about fatherhood due to Ms. Davis's track record, thrusting the trust issues in their relationship under a glaring spotlight. The court's collective jaw drops as the saga unfolds. But wait, it cranks up a notch in the next segment.
Mr. Simpson, you say that your ex-wife cheated on you multiple times and is incapable of being faithful. You say there is no way you are her daughter's father and DNA test will prove your case.
This part's a doozy. Ms. Davis takes the stand to defend her loyalty in the relationship, admitting to past flings but asserting her truthfulness each time. Their exchange lays bare the tangled roots of their relationship, shadowed by old betrayals and lingering doubts. Brace yourselves, because what comes next is even more mind-boggling.
I think it's ludicrous. He's being an idiot. I know that she is his, and I'm tired of our past coming into play.
I've known 11 times that she's cheated in a previous relationship.
11 times?
Yes, ma'am. And
She's cheated in your previous relationship?
previous relationships, yes.
And just when you thought the drama peaked, Mr. Simpson recounts a jaw-dropping story of catching Ms. Davis in the act of cheating. This bombshell highlights the profound issues and mistrust that have plagued their union from the start. But hold on to your popcorn. The revelations are far from over.
She tells me after I get off work to stay in the house. She got somebody that come and visit her. I stay in the house. Somebody pulls in my driveway. I walk out and she's in the car making out with these people.
In front of your house?
Yeah.
Did you cheat on your husband 11 times?
No, I did not, but yes, I did cheat on him. We were married when I was 16 years old. I was just a kid.
Mr. Simpson debates whether Ms. Davis's transition into motherhood has truly transformed her, pointing out behaviors eerily reminiscent of her less than faithful past. This throws a wrench into any notions of resolved trust issues. Stay tuned, because the plot thickens even further in the moments to follow.
Did you feel like she had changed?
Yes, she had kids with other guys after we'd separated.
You felt like motherhood had matured her.
Yes, as it would anyone. There's a lot of coincidence, same as before, that she's going out, sitting in cars middle of the night. I get family and friends telling me that she's bringing guys in my house while
So wait,
gone.
this is the second time around you say this, and all of the stories are still the same.
Yes.
As the stakes soar, the courtroom dives deeper into the complexities of their patched-up romance, scrutinizing their intimacy issues, trust quarrels, and the eyebrow-raising frequency of pregnancy tests. This discussion stirs up more questions than answers about the real timing and legitimacy of the pregnancy. The suspense is building, and you won't believe what's around the corner.
Things just wouldn't rise to the occasion because of all the stress that I was going through. All right, but yeah.
Oh, okay. You
But-
said that very respectfully. I understand.
The first month we're together, she's taking a pregnancy test every week, once, twice a week.
Even though you couldn't form initially because of the stress, you see her taking pregnancy tests.
Yes, ma'am.
Hold the phone, it gets crazier. As the tension mounts, Mr. Simpson vents his ongoing skepticism about the paternity, incensed by Ms. Davis's supposedly reformed ways that seem all too familiar. This cycle of mistrust and accusations continues to haunt their shaky reconciliation. But wait, the next twist is a real kicker.
I have to say, I've kept my doubts because I've always this past in my head where, you know.
So the past is the past, though. I mean, at some point, once you rekindle the relationship, have to allow the past to be the past.
Yes, but you don't go through the same and over and
But
over.
you said the same were coming up,
Yes.
and you thought she was cheating
ma'am.
again.
Like of a-
Just when you're catching your breath, Mr. Simpson throws a curveball by choosing to evict Ms. Davis in favor of his ex-wife moving back in, throwing their delicate relationship dynamics into chaos and underlining the fragility of their recent reconciliation. But that's not all. Gear up, because the emotional roller coaster takes another dive just ahead.
You said he let his ex come live in the house with you all?
Via text kicked me out. Pregnant to let his ex-wife move back in.
Oh,
to be
this
a
is
mother.
when you got angry when she got pregnant and you thought the baby wasn't yours.
Wasn't like that. I mean, it was, I didn't think she was able to be truthful, faithful.
Grab your tissues for this heart-wrenching moment. As they discuss Elizabeth's future, Mr. Simpson reveals his profound emotional connection to her despite his doubts, showcasing a touching conflict between his affection and his suspicions. The courtroom is thick with emotion, and just when you think you've seen it all, the ultimate reveal is up next.
What are you feeling looking at your beautiful little girl?
I mean, she loves him, and he's a good dad. I wouldn't want a better dad for her.
So why are the tears in your eyes?
I just want all this to be done and over with, and that way we can move on with our life.
And all my family's straight. I've got Cherokee blood, and I don't know anybody in my family that.
Prepare for the grand finale. The climax hits with the DNA test results finally disclosed.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Simpson, you are the father.
I'm sorry.
Grab your popcorn, folks. Ms. Eubanks steps up to the plate, claiming she's in court to prove Mr. Wilkes is the proud papa of 3-month-old Maisie, all to save their teetering relationship. She's not just sure, she's 1,002% sure he's the father, aiming for wedding bells once the DNA test confirms her story. Brace yourself, the drama is just heating up.
Ms. Eubanks, you say you are here to save your relationship with the defendant by proving is your 3-month-old son Mozzie's father. You say once today's DNA results prove you want to get married.
And here comes the curveball. Mr. Wilkes counters with a heavy heart, revealing his doubts about Maisie's paternity, noting a missing father-son spark he's always felt with his other kids. He's pinned his hopes on the DNA results, declaring it's make or break time for their relationship. The suspense thickens, so stay tuned.
You claim that when Mozzie was born, you hoped for a sign that he was your son. No matter how hard you look, it just wasn't there. Say negative paternity result will end your relationship.
Oh, the feels are real here. Ms. Eubanks dives deep into her emotional turmoil caused by the swirling paternity doubts. Tears in her eyes, she pleads her case, yearning to mend the fractures in their relationship caused by this gnawing uncertainty. Get ready, the emotional roller coaster is about to plunge deeper.
I want to save my relationship because we've been together too long. I'm 1,002% sure that he's my child's father. I just want these results for him so we can move forward and get married like we planned. It affected me tremendously.
I heard you well up with what are you feeling?
It's just emotional. Like, we've been together too long, so you shouldn't have no doubts or no feelings that anything else.
Things are getting spicy. Mr. Wilkes details his nightly vigils with baby Mozzie, staying up till the crack of dawn, hoping for a sign of paternal connection that sadly never arrives. His tale of sleepless nights and growing gray hairs at 30 paints a vivid picture of his strife. Up next, does the DNA dance bring them closer or pull them apart?
Your Honor, I'm here. I just need results. I'm tired of guessing, wondering, and things of that sort. And like she said, for so long, so I shouldn't have doubts, but I have my reasoning. It's just the connection. It wasn't there when he first came. Kids all give me certain signs, you know what I mean? I just didn't feel any type. You know, I even held him up. I did him like the little Simba.
Flashback time. Let's rewind to where it all began. At a strip club, no less, during a family member's birthday bash. It was love at first sight for these two partygoers, but the plot thickens as their love story hits a snag following the birth of their first child. What's next? It's more tangled than your earphones in your pocket.
The relationship started, we met each other at, we was there for a family member's birthday party. It was just love at first sight. Like, we was together ever since. After our first child was born, we had took a little, it's what he calls it, a so-called breakup.
Do you believe during that time dating other people?
She was definitely talking to other people at the time.
Cue the dramatic music. Mr. Wilkes whips out a bombshell, a video from Ms. Eubanks' phone that he believes shows her in a not-so-innocent light, dancing a bit too close with another man during their break. As the evidence plays, jaws drop. What will the judge make of this dance debacle? The next part is a must-watch.
I went through the phone one night and seen a video.
Uh-oh.
You the only eyes for me. Something is showing me something totally different.
What? Let's take a look at the video.
We see that's her when she said she had eyes for me. This is during our little separation. That's her dancing. That's her. She's bent over. She just slapped the camera. That's a guy behind her. You can't really see it. Kind of see it? You see that grinding?
Here comes the moment of truth. Drum roll, please. The DNA results are in, and guess what?
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Wilkes, you are the father.
Ms. Englund begins her testimony by explaining that despite having a 6-year relationship and a 3-year-old son with Mr. Kaiser, he denies paternity of their 6-month-old son, Isaac. She expresses her intent to prove his paternity in court, and the plot thickens.
Ms. Englund, you say that you and Mr. Kaiser have been together years, have a 3-year-old son together, but claim he's now denying your 6-month-old son, Isaac, and you're here to prove that he is the father.
Mr. Kaiser counters Ms. Englund's claims by acknowledging their first child, but denies being the father of Isaac. He suggests that during a separation, Ms. Englund was involved with another man, whom he believes to be Isaac's father, setting the stage for a real soap opera.
You acknowledge one child with Ms. Englund, but say Isaac, you say that during your separation from Ms. Englund, you slept with another man, and you are 100% sure he is the father.
The judge delves into the relationship history as Ms. Englund explains their separation and subsequent reconciliation during which Isaac was conceived. This revelation sets the stage for the paternity dispute, highlighting the complex timeline of their relationship with a twist worthy of a daytime Emmy.
We were in a relationship 4.5 years before we finally split, and I went with the other man.
And so during that time, you had one child?
Yes.
Right. Yes. And then during the split,
Isaac was conceived.
And so basically your relationship is complete. Like the stakes are high.
If it doesn't get solved today, I can't do it anymore. It's done.
Ms. England and Mr. Kaiser discuss their domestic life, with Ms. England arguing that despite working long hours, Mr. Kaiser did not provide adequate support at home, which led to disputes and her eventual departure. It's like a real-life sitcom, but with more at stake.
How is it his house and I'm working 12 hours to take care of the bills for that house? Shit, he was supposed to be home taking care of the kids.
I interact with the kids all the time. The whole time she was at work. I've been home taking care of the kids, y'all. She on the job messing around to take care of the kids.
I'm on the job messing around with another man. I'm 12 hours in a dog bed factory.
If that's how you got his phone number.
If you would have been taking care of business, no other man would have been able to even talk to me, but you were too busy fighting.
I understand that.
A key piece of evidence is discussed where Ms. England tries to establish a timeline of sexual encounters to pinpoint Isaac's conception date. She insists that the conception occurred during a time she was reunited with Mr. Kaiser, thereby suggesting his paternity. It's like a plot twist in a mystery novel.
Your Honor, on the 25th of March is the last time I had been sexual with the other man.
On the 25th of March,
yes.
You were intimate with the other guy?
Yes, ma'am. On the 28th, me and Mr. Kaiser, we got back together. I came back where he was at with our children. The 29th, 30th, the 31st, and the 1st. Conception date is the 30th of March.
Ms. England points out a genetic trait, tongue tie, shared between Mr. Kaiser and Isaac, arguing it as evidence of paternity. The discussion extends to other genetic traits, complicating the case with medical details that may support her claim. It's turning into a full-blown genetics lecture with a twist.
That baby's also tongue-tied. Genetic trait.
Okay.
Same trait.
Okay.
And you're referring to a medical condition.
She don't know if that guy's father.
That's not true, because
What if the other guy didn't have it, but his daddy had it? Should I tell you all that?
His daddy did not have it.
How does she know that, Your Honor?
Question.
How does she know that? She never met the other guy's father.
Dr. McLaurin, a medical expert, discusses the hereditary nature of tongue tie, suggesting that while there's a chance it could be inherited, it's not definitive proof of paternity. This expert testimony adds scientific perspective, but leaves some questions open, much like a cliffhanger in your favorite series.
Can you speak to this issue?
Well, the research is all over the place on a tongue tie. There is no research that says 100% that he has a tongue tie, his child will have a tongue tie.
The research I read said 50-50 if one parent carries it, 100% chance if both parents.
There is research out there that says.
Is there research that says otherwise as well?
Yes.
Amidst continuous arguing about past infidelities and misunderstandings, the tension in the courtroom peaks as both parties express their frustrations and grievances, painting a picture of a deeply troubled relationship. It's like watching a tennis match, but the ball is their accusations.
If baby Isaac is your biological child, mister, can you all move past all of this arguing over cheating? You all have been arguing for 25
I don't want to cheat no more, y'all. I love this woman. You know what I'm saying?
It gets worse at the house.
Answer my question.
You repeat the question, y'all.
I know you didn't hear it.
The judge reveals the DNA test results, determining that.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Kaiser, you are not father.
Are you sure?
I'm sorry.
You sure? Are you sure?
I'm so sorry.
Ms. Jones asserts that Mr. Joyner, her ex-boyfriend, fathered her 8-month-old daughter Hazel and now refuses to acknowledge or support the child. With a mix of exasperation and drama, Ms. Jones and her mother seek a court-ordered DNA test to establish paternity and compel Mr. Joyner to provide support.
Ms. Jones, you claim the defendant is an ex-boyfriend who got you pregnant and now refuses to do anything for your 8-month-old daughter Hazel. You and your mother petitioned the court for a DNA test to prove that he is Hazel's father, so he will finally step up.
Mr. Joyner denies being the father, citing his background as a responsible U.S. military veteran. Amidst his firm denial, he claims with a serious face that it is not his baby and remarks that their relationship was far from serious.
Mr. Joyner, you say you are a responsible U.S. military veteran who would never neglect a call and are 100% certain you are not the child's biological father.
Mrs. Jones's mother takes the stage with gusto, testifying about her involvement in the couple's lives. She counters Mr. Joyner's previous statements with undeniable mom energy, emphasizing his significant involvement with their family, which contradicts his claim of a non-serious relationship.
He has not done anything. Babies cost a lot of money and I'm a single mother and I can't do it on my own, and Hazel really needs her dad in her life. He is her father. Since I was pregnant with her, I've been trying to reach out to him. Doctor's appointments coming up. Do you want to come? I mean, he just have no interest really. I got pregnant with her.
Mrs. Jones details how she broke the news of her pregnancy to Mr. Joyner, who reacted with disbelief and silence before cutting communications, leaving a cliffhanger in in the air. Her account leaves the audience and judge hanging on every word.
I called him and I was like, I got something to tell you. I'm at the hospital. He was like, don't tell me you're pregnant. I said, well, I'm pregnant. Like, he just sat on the phone silent, and then he said, I'm gonna call you back, and he never called me back. And I'm waiting for the phone to ring and no call back.
I'm not a doctor or anything like that, but I know that she was having sex in that time frame of which, or it could have been the other guy.
How do you know this?
Because when she came to me and said she was pregnant, it might have been 3 weeks.
In an almost comedic turn of events, Mr. Joyner discusses his long history of unprotected intimate, but insists he's responsible. His defense against the judge's criticism adds a touch of irony to the proceedings.
Now, I thank you for your service, I will say that. Responsible? How are you having sex for 11 years and never using protection?
Who's to say I'm irresponsible? Okay, yeah, I could have.
I'm telling you are. For 11 years having sex and you're not using protection? Really?
That means that I don't think that means I'm irresponsible.
You don't?
No.
Well,
I'm
look,
not
I'd rather be irresponsible than dead that too, having unprotected for 11 years.
Okay.
And now, a word from our sponsor. Just kidding, it's Mr. Joyner's mom. With a surprising twist, Mr. Joyner's mother enters the scene. Fully convinced of Hazel's paternity based on family resemblance and interactions, she adds a heartfelt and personal touch to the unfolding drama. Don't go anywhere. The DNA results are up next, and they're a game changer.
Thank you so much for joining us.
No problem.
You know, we're here discussing baby Hazel,
Yes, ma'am.
her paternity, and Jones asserts that your son is her biological father. Do you believe that?
I do. They brought her to see me when she was 2 days old. Olivia, I didn't find out till 2 weeks before that she was pregnant. When
So
you
your
touch
son
a
never
baby-
told you?
No. Never.
Grab your popcorn. The main event is here. The climax of the episode arrives as the DNA test results are revealed.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Joyner, you are father.
Yes.